Hello guys and good morning. Welcome to the show where we break down fights every week. I still have yet to come up with a name for this, but hey, thank you guys for tuning in. This week I'm covering the -68 final of CHIBA, Housseini versus McNeish. I had my money on McNeish, or not McNeish. I had my money on Housseini to win this, especially because I've watched him fight and beat Daehoon Lee before. Daehoon actually ended up losing to McNeish or GBR here, and that was a little bit of a surprise to me. We covered that fight earlier a few weeks ago, but now we're covering these two. What we know from both of these fighters is that Iran Staple just has a really good front leg, super dynamic, usually has an out in the clinch, also has great, Housseini in particular also has a great punch off of his cut. GBR came out same kind of deal, strong front leg idea, and between the two, when I saw that McNeish had won and Housseini would won, I had not watched this live, but my money was that Housseini was gonna win. One, because GBR has a strong front leg, and by strong front leg I mean it's dynamic and it's physically strong, and Iran has the same deal, but Iran's had this technique, had this weapon for I would say almost years now. So between the two, I feel like Iran has more experience with his ins and outs, and what are the weaknesses to this, what are the possible weaknesses. And so between the two, I had my money on Iran. For those of you guys who have watched this already, you guys know how this turns out, but I want to take an in-depth view about the micro adjustments happening, the different styles of play that are happening, and a good takeaway for you front leg fighters for what are different things that either you can do with this front leg, or different like things you need to like add on to, or like if you see the way these guys are playing, maybe you need to add more physical strength, that kind of deal. So we'll take a look at that. Have the volume on low. McNeish opening, pretty much a basic cut. There's that Iranian punch I really like. I actually started adopting this into my own game here. Those guys who don't know how to punch, or I wouldn't say how to punch, but one of the setups I like to do, I covered this in my punching variations video, is this cut into the punch, and I like it because it negates the front leg, which is the main counter to the punch. You land, you get that punch on there. Unfortunately, no score, but that's a great little setup for you guys. Nice. McNeish with that physical strength, able to score on that cut. Housseini goes for it again. Fortunately, no score. It's a good way to handle it. Actually, really good counter. The reason McNeish does axe kick is, one, because the axe kick sets up into his cut, which is one of his main offensive little pokes or prods, and he's able to score on it. But two, that the direct axe kick, if Housseini were to cut into that, that would have been above his cut and may have landed on his head if he were punching. So it's a good micro adjustment by McNeish here. Also, nice try with that front leg. He knows that Iran also likes to use his front. One of the other main counters to that is the front leg hook kick. Trying for it again. Nice job. So this is a good adjustment here by McNeish to try for this headshot after the third attempt by Housseini to get in for the punch. Unfortunately, it doesn't reach, and Iran takes advantage of being in the clinch here to go for his own out in. Scores in him, plus the -1 for falling down. Housseini in a pretty good spot. Ooh, no punch for that one. Oh, that's not really it. So still less than a minute has transpired in the first round. McNeish is trying to recreate his first point. He's trying to figure out how to get past this Iranian defense without him closing in on me as often. Good try. There he goes. A little bit more poke. Ooh, wow, for the two. How do you set this one up? So for those of you guys analyzing tapes, especially for more advanced fights, one way to do it is when you're reviewing, don't look at just what's scored. Look at how it was set up. Look at the 2 or 3 aggressions before that and how did that work. So a lot of these two, before this one, I won't rewind it anymore. Before this happened, there's a lot of single leg poke, and then this one, it's a single leg poke into a flick. A little bit in kind of what Handipor in my last video, a lot of what he does is kind of single leg poke, and into the flip. He fights, I think, with his left leg forward, but McNeish here doing the same idea, single leg poke, kind of lulled Housseini to sleep a little bit. Not expecting much after that, but he went into the cut flick, which is why it catches him off guard. Ooh, and the follow up there would have been really, really nice. Too bad he missed it by a little bit. Really nice follow up there. Way to tie up the game. So Housseini's still trying for his punch. I would almost not have recommended that, given that given that Housseini, given that McNeish has almost countered his punch 2 or 3 times now. I know it's one of his main weapons. Sometimes it's hard to peel away from that. And given that he has the adjusted counter to where he's trying to axe kick after that, I wouldn't still pursue that line of action. Now for Housseini though, it's kind of difficult because against a main front leg counter, that might be his main weapon. It might be if he uses his front leg a lot, cancel. When he clashes you, then punch, and that's a 1 point for me, 0 points for you situation. McNeish has a very dynamic front leg, and so that main option is like no longer available. So we kind of have to see how McNeish deals, or not McNeish. We have to see how Housseini deals with the rest of the situation. You can see here he tried for it again. Unfortunately, he's going for the cancel. Still got the headshot on while Iran was trying to close it. So the answer so far, what they're trying to do is get rid of McNeish's front leg, GBR's front leg here. What can we do with that? And that's kind of where Housseini has to find the gap in the game. GBR doing a great job though, because he understands that Iran is trying to close the distance often, so that way his front leg isn't usable. So a lot of what he's doing on defense is going straight to the face. So that way, if he does try and close or cancel on that front leg, he better beat the front. He better make Housseini, the Iranian, better beat McNeish's front leg. Otherwise, it's a headshot for him. Very good by McNeish here, putting the pressure on. Ooh, good return. Oh, almost right back. That was a very good punch by McNeish there. McNeish's confidence is pretty high right now, I would say. Let's try for the follow. So the few gaps that we've seen Housseini get through is inside the clinch. GBR's defense doesn't seem to be as good, and his front leg is negated and isn't dynamic after they're coming to the clinch position and they're finding openings from being close together and then opening, and then that's where Iran's gotten 2 of his headshots. Where the defense is scary is initially if he hasn't closed the distance yet and GBR is still in a lateral like fighting stance, that's where his front leg is still able to dynamically do stuff. But once they hit the clinch, that seems to be where Iran's possible openings could be. So Iran, go back to your coaches, try and figure out each other's puzzle pieces. McNeish is doing a great job right now. If I were McNeish's coaches, I'd say maintain the offense. Keep kind of almost doing what you're doing, man. Don't keep flicking to the face because he's going to want to try and close. And I mean, I'm not GBR, but I would say mixing maybe a little bit of back leg. So Housseini has to figure out some different looks. If I were Housseini, the biggest math problem you got to solve, or not math problem, the biggest puzzle you have to solve right now is how do you get close around that front leg, negate it, and then go for your out in. Possibility is to try and do that without going for the punch. You can close it in like the way Jinsei Obeya does it, where just clash straight in, give him full body weight, and then try and go for something. Motion a little bit more on blitz, which would almost be a little bit weird to play though for Iran, because Iran's a taller player here, and usually that's a smaller man's game. Let's see what Iran does as an adjustment, because I actually don't know. Oh, he's going for the close. Nice try. I watched this once when it came out, and then I wrote it down as something to cover, but like I don't remember what transpires completely. McNeish going for a lot of headshots, which is very nice and somewhat in my favor, which is cool. And Housseini's trying to find, I think still trying to figure out how to get past that front leg. Nice. Get to that close as soon as possible. Don't try and fight on the outside with anything right now. Arm guard coming off. Oop. Also, if any of you guys watched the US Grand Slam over the past weekend, have any good recommendations for fights, please let me know. That'd be kind of cool to watch some of those. I heard it was going on. I had training and a bunch of other stuff. I didn't watch it. If there's any good fights, I heard there's someone who's like 7-1 over there. Ooh. So, for the last minute, Housseini has been trying to find the points in the clinch. He's been kind of foot fencing a little bit with McNeish on the outside, but majority of his gameplay here is to try and get inside and close, which is nice because that's what I said. McNeish is wising up to it. He knows he can't just sit here and defend. He's shooting out some kicks as well and able to score, which is good for him. I think this is a third attempt by Housseini now to go for that head in the clinch. So they have to try. They're trying to find where the hole in McNeish's game is, because there has to be one somewhere. Everyone, if someone doesn't move, how do I put this? Every move in Taekwondo has a weakness, and so they're trying to find, with McNeish's revolution of techniques, like when is the best time to strike within that. McNeish doing a great job here, still mixing in the headshots. Yeah, still mixing the headshots because he knows Iran wants to close, get to this position. So in order to do that, he has to come in at some point. Why not try and blitz for the head first, and if potentially cost Iran 3 points to get in. But I think McNeish might be doing that a little bit too often. He has to shoot a little bit more. I think he's going for the face a little bit too often now, though, because he's done a blitz, like a straight head shot or face shot. I want to say the last 5 or 6 exchanges almost off the bat. So if he's able to do that and bring it back to the body, I think he can start growing his lead a little by little by hitting those body shots instead of just going straight for the face every time. Nice. Nice punch. Ooh. I'm not really sure about that one. I know that sometimes Iran does that for the break. Okay. Card. Do. Oh, scratched his throat. Maybe legitimate. Oh, was legitimate. Sweet. Oh, we missed some action. Going for that punch again. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, so that's the weakness, was in the clinch. He seems like his head's open. At some points, his head's open. Other times, he's on top of it. So, as Iran, what do we know? We've tried in the clinch headshots. We've tried closing the distance, getting set in the clinch. The times that it's starting to get through is if you clinch and go to the head right away. That seems to be where McNeish's weakness is. That's most of the time. That's where it happens. Not after. Once he's set also. He can defend it well, but as soon as there's a cancel happens, and if you blitz him first, that seems to be where the weakness is. McNeish is pretty wise to that. So McNeish's counter to that isn't to try to evade his head right away. It's to, if I kick first, it's going to jam up his other leg, and therefore he can't kick. Pretty good adjustment by McNeish here. Ooh, that's not bad, given that... I don't know, I actually wouldn't spin, given the way that Housseini closes, because he closes oftentimes not with the cancel in place. He closes oftentimes with that cut forward, with that cut, so with that punch loaded. I wouldn't have spun going forward. Maybe as a jump back kick, I could see that, because it's, you know, you're fading away, so you're giving yourself more space to get that foot out there. But yeah, I wouldn't have spun forward like that. I could see him maybe using that, and the reason for using that is because I haven't used this before, so it may have caught Iran off guard. But like I said, that's not the way I would have spun, given the information we have against Iran here. If I had connected, that would have been awesome. That's another 4 points. That's what I was saying. McNeish here just needs to focus. Sometimes just needs to focus a little bit more on body. He's doing a lot of head kicks. Now going straight for the body deep shot. Not a bad idea. Ooh, very nice. Nice try. Those are pretty good attempts by McNeish, though. It's just unfortunate that it did not connect. Pretty good setups, though. Very bright. So what I would say as an adjustment here is for Iran, it's to blitz on the inside. As soon as you get close, you need to try and fire the headshot, because those are the few split seconds you have where he's not ready and set and his defense is going, and he's not kicking it back. As McNeish, if you can play from the outside still and try and score some more points on the body and mix that up with your headshots, man, that would be way more phenomenal than just going to the face every single time. Secondly, close the hole in your game, which is getting crescent kicks as soon as Housseini goes in. Housseini actually, I don't think, has attempted too many body shots in the clinch almost. So I might even just say, as soon as you get in the clinch in that situation, start guarding your face, because I mean, if you're kicking down low on one side, that's a 50-50 chance, and if it's above your head already or above your leg, you just got to cover your head. Like I always say, though, this is a lot easier for me just to sit here and criticize and comment, because I'm sitting here in a nice chair. These guys actually have to fight. There you go, mixing up with some body head. That's what you got to be doing. Try for the head, not bad. Ooh, right back, nice. So this is one of Housseini's specialties. This jump inside the clinch here. One of those. There's I know how to block it, but you have to know it's coming, and so that's what makes it difficult. I could show you guys in another video how to block that if you guys are interested. That technique doesn't come out that often, but I had a teammate who used to in-out crescent kick me like literally all the time for like 2 weeks, and then just because we're trying to figure out a way to block it, so he just keep hitting with me until I figure it out. And you actually have to, like, so if I'm facing you like this, instead of blocking this way and trying to block it one way or the other, you cross your arm across. So instead of my right arm being on their left shoulder, I'd put my left arm on their left shoulder, and it creates like a bridge, I'd say, a gate where they can't cross. Anyway, so he gets kicked in the face. Great job here to respond. He knows Iran can't go back, so he goes straight in with an axe kick that's very well covered. And why is it well covered? I stress people here fighting. I stress people here fighting on the corners quite often, because if he goes back at this situation, we were just covering this drill yesterday. You see at Berkeley and then also at Sparta, the distance game. If they're on the corner and usually people have the option to slide back, stay in place, or move forward. If they slide back, but if they're on the edge, usually so they have the three options. They can either move in, stay in place, or move back. If they're on the edge, they can't move back because they're going to lose points. So what McNeish does here is he shoots his axe kick in the front here. So if Iran were to move in, he'd move in straight to the axe kick. He also has an axe kick land where Housseini is staying, because, well, that's the only other place he can go if he's not moving back. And if he does move back, he gets a +1. So this becomes like a win-win-win scenario for McNeish. And I stress this a lot when people are sparring, to try and keep people on the edge. And a lot of people don't understand why. This is why. Because it increases your rate of hitting from 33.33% in any of these positions to 50%. And if you have a kick, if you're able to develop your kicks well enough to where you can kick in front, hold it up there, and then launch it to where they are in place, like, it increases your chances by hitting a headshot by a lot. And so please keep that as a take. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on here. This is a key point for a lot of you guys who are learning sparring. Please take this concept home. Here, in front and right on top. If you were to move forward at all at that point, he would have run into GBR's foot. And if he stayed in place, which he did, he got hit. Also helped a little bit that he's off balance. Nice. Inside the clinch. Dude, this inside the clinch. Dude, that flexibility, man, is crazy. 3 points going away. So I'm almost caught on the fence here. I don't know if HOSSEINI saved this kick, because this is one of his signature kicks. He used this against Daehoon a lot in the Asian games. And Daehoon, I don't know how he does it, but HOSSEINI's foot came up, and Daehoon was like, his foot came up here, and Daehoon literally just rolled his neck around like this. And it didn't hit him. And he won, I think, barely won against Housseini over there. But that was the craziest deep. That's when I was like, Daehoon's like the epitome of good defense. He just rolled his neck around. He didn't even try and block. He just did that. So I'm kind of stuck here. I don't know if Iran ran out of moves and was like, we have to use that, or if they played it like Korea and they saved this to the 3rd round, where GBR can't come up with a counter to this anymore because there's no going back to your ref. I'm actually not sure which way Iran played it, but whichever way it was, if it was I'm gonna hold this to the 3rd round so he can't adjust, that's like super smart. And if it was that they're out of cards to use, they're all out of other options, and they have to use this technique, I'd also say good job to McNeish to having to bring out the big guns. There's that punch he's been trying to score since first rounds. Good body shots. Good trying to mix it up the head. Seems like he's getting a little bit tired here. Good. Not bad by McNeish. Mix it up, body punt, body head. Was getting tired. I think Iran kind of knows he's getting tired. They're both kind of tired, but punch is pretty. Ooh, nice try by McNeish there. Very good attempt. Okay. If anything, I'd say this is a little bit more of getting some rest time. Who used the card? Okay, rolling around on the floor. Oh, okay, blue using the card. I think they're hoping for a DQ here, because so if there's, oh no, that's straight in the throat. Okay, so the reason blue is using, or GBR is using the card here, for those of you guys who don't know, is if there's a legal technique and the opponent cannot continue, it counts as a knockout. Does that make sense? Like if I kick you in the stomach super hard and you can't continue, and the ref doesn't count you out, I could use my card to say that should have been a knockout. I'm pretty sure you could. That should have been a knockout. Please, you know, disqualify this person from continuing, because obviously they continue after legal technique. So if it is an illegal technique, though, then the ref's call is valid for the weight, and yeah, the medical team is necessary, etc., etc. So right now they're trying to verify if this is a legitimate or illegitimate technique used. I'm pretty sure it's denied, given how high def that was. Yeah, so denied. So I think my call is correct. Or actually, maybe it wasn't for that. I think it was for the gum jung, for the warning. So what would happen if the ref thought the move was illegal? There's no count. They give blue. They would have given blue the warning, which gives red a +1. And I think blue was trying to negate red's +1. Apologies. That's most likely what it was for. I didn't see what the score was. How did Housseini score this? So this is when I first watched it. I thought this was brilliant too. So against GBR's front leg, a lot of times it was don't fight with it where it is because it's super strong, super dynamic, etc., etc. However, now that he's getting a little bit more tired, all Iran's doing here is waiting for his leg to come down and then flicking the points on top. I think he does the same thing in a little bit. Let's try for the punch there. Ooh, way to get that on there, man. Still with the clinch on the inside, or still with the gum jung on the inside. Not the gum jung, out in on the inside. Dude, super good. Now that so McNeish is getting tired now because it's hard to use that front leg that strong, that dynamically for the whole fight. So what Iran's doing instead is after he does his few kicks, he puts his foot down, then hit him. Like right there. Again, we just went through that scenario earlier. And McNeish is almost defenseless against this because, you know, he doesn't have the stamina to hold his leg up anymore. Ooh, nice try though. Oh, nice try there too. That spin was actually pretty good given that a lot of in the past exchanges, a lot of Iran's spin or defenses have been in place with front leg like that. That spin wasn't bad, not bad. I don't know if I would have given him that one. Also, McNeish is doing a great job getting in the clinch, so it's unfortunate that his kicks aren't you know, connecting. He scored another one here? How did he score this one? I just want to see how this one scored. Boom. Same idea. Same idea. Just wait till that foot comes down and hit it. Okay. Okay. Moving forward. I think it was a call for holding. Punch scored. So, oh, gave him the punch. So, Housseini just has to hold out here. Same idea. As soon as GBR's leg goes down, he doesn't have the stamina to fight you like that. As soon as his leg goes down, hit him. He's trying to, yeah, right there, he's trying to score again. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. He's trying to use everything in his playbook. I think that's about it, man. Ooh. Great fight between these two. Housseini with the second Grand Prix win, I believe. Great job to that man. As an overall recap, what was happening in the first round, McNeish's front leg, super good, super dynamic. Able to score on the offense. Housseini not able to score as much. He got the one left leg crescent, I think. Second round, the adjustment was for Housseini to try and close the distance, try and get that left leg crescent in clinch. They figure out later into the round, if you do it right away, McNeish has almost no defense. McNeish, on the other hand, on the second round, a little too many head kicks right away. Not enough variable mix up between the body, head, body. Most of it was to the head. When he started mixing up to the body again, he scored a couple more points. And then both sides, great job out in crescent kicks in the clinch. Third round, Housseini either uses his ace or held on to his ace, where in the clinch he has an inside jump front kick where it's really hard to block unless you've been training against that. And then McNeish running out of steam. And I'm also pretty sure that Iran here figured out, if just wait till his legs he's a little bit tired now. Defense is a little bit lower, especially when people get tired. As he's putting his leg down, then flick your foot on top. And that's how he scored the last 8, like, I want to say 8, 9, 10 points in this round. Punches and flicking to the body as McNeish's leg came down. Granted, at McNeish's front leg is hard to use stamina-wise, because I'm sure there's a lot of physical force behind that. Uses a lot of oxygen, tire a little bit more. But great job for both these guys to make it to the finals here. Great front legs by both sides. There's stuff and points to be taken away from both players. And that's about it, guys. If you guys saw any more things here that you guys, broke down and I was able to break down, or see that I wasn't able to see, please leave that in the comments. And if you guys enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, or shoot me DMs, whatever. All right, well, anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.